Hi guys, today we're in the RV and we're trying to get the water heater ready to go for a weekend trip coming up. I know this looks like a regular cabinet, but it's not, and it says not a storage cabinet. Behind this door is the water heater. And what we got to do, we got to take these screws out to get to the valves that are inside the water heater compartment. During the winter, you shut the valve off to the water heater and then drain the water heater so it doesn't freeze up over the winter time. But now that we're getting ready to go camping for the first time this year, we have to change the valves back so the water heater will fill. Okay, maybe you can see up inside here, but there's two valves. You can see those two valves. We have to actually change them to the other direction. This bottom valve will allow the water to flow into the water heater. This is the water heater itself. Right now it's closed off, and the other valve is a bypass. So basically we could still run water in this camper, but we just would not have hot water. So we are going to reverse this one and reverse this one. Now that they are reversed, the water will flow into the water heater. The bypass is closed off, so now as your hot water runs out, it'll go straight into the hot water lines, and with the bypass closed off, it can't get back into the cold water. Okay, now we got to go to the outside. Okay guys, now we're on the outside of the camper, and this is the outside of the water heater. And what we're going to do, we got to take the anode rod out. That's this right here. You'll need a hold up a minute. Okay, we had a little whoops right there. Forgot to get the socket to get the anode rod out. You need a 1 1/16 socket. I change this once a year, really, whether it needs it or not. And this anode rod is a magnesium anode rod, and you can see it's all getting chewed up, but like I said, I change it once a year. You can see kind of the nasty stuff that stays in there. Now some people, they'll grab a hose, rinse that out. What I do is I run a tap in here to try to get some of the nasty stuff out. You can see you get some nasty stuff there. We try to clean it out a little bit, but when you put your pipe tape on your new one, that always gets in there too. We use a tap, and I'll show you here in just a second how I run a tap inside there. The size for this particular RV water heater is a 3/4 14 tapered pipe tap. And this one, nothing special about it, it's just plain carbon steel tap. The thing is, you got to be careful. All we want to do is clean up the threads. We don't want to cut new threads, so it's okay just to use a plain carbon. If you're going to actually cut threads, then you want to use a high-speed steel tap, which is actually a tool alloy. This is not a tool alloy. This is just made to clean up your threads. Now what I also have is a 8-point socket. 11/16 will fit the head of this 3/4 14. So basically we're going to come in here and try to go very easy so it'll chase those threads. Since it's on a taper, it'll be a little bit before it actually gets tight. And once you feel it get tight, you're done. Because like I said, you're not actually trying to cut new threads, you just want to clean up what you got. Okay, right there is tight. So we'll stop and then we'll back it off. Now when you pull your tap out, you'll have gunk on it, see? It's a little wet in there, that's why it looks like it's not really clean. But we dug the old pipe tape out of the threads, and now it'll be good enough we can put the new anode rod in. We had pre-drained this after our last trip last year, but there's just still some residual water in here. Okay, so now we're ready to put the anode rod, the new anode rod in. You can see big difference from the old anode rod that right now is laying on the ground. This particular anode rod is already prepped with the pipe tape on the threads. So now we have to try to get this in here and get it started on the threads. Yeah, that was our old tap laying there. Got to go with your 1 1/16 socket again and get it all up in there. Make sure it's snug, but doesn't have to be super duper tight. Once that's in, you're done. Now you're ready to fill your tank, connect it to city water, whatever it takes. And then as you fill it, you always got to open this valve up here. When you open that, when you get water spilling out of it, then you know your water heater is full, and then close your valve back off. So that's it for today. Now we're ready for when we go on our trip, probably next weekend.